If you've been in a place where you've been thinking about homeschooling, you've been having thoughts and considering the possibility of homeschooling, but you're just not sure if it's the right thing to do, if it's the right time, or if it's even God's will for you and your family, this video is for you. If you're new here, my name is Isa. I'm a homeschool mom and I've been homeschooling for a few years now. Like you, I was in a place before I started my homeschool journey where I was not sure. I'm like, is this you, God? Is this me? Can I do this? I've never seen it happen. No one in my family has ever homeschooled. I don't really know people that are homeschooling. How do I know this is going to be successful? How do I know this is actually God's vision for me? How the heck do I know that I can actually do this? So I had all of those questions, which are questions you might be having right in this very moment. I wanted to make this video because this is something that I wish I had as I was thinking through and trying to figure out if it was God's will, if it was the right thing to do. So let's go ahead and jump in. In this video, I'm going to share with you guys the 6 signs that God might be calling you to homeschool. The first sign is you feel this nudge or conviction. You don't know where it came from, but it just came over you. So it's this conviction that you cannot shake off. It's just there, right? Because some people will have a thought, the same thought you're having, but they just don't even think about it twice. They just keep it pushing. They just brush it off. They don't even entertain it. It doesn't convict them. It's just a thought. But you, on the other hand, you're having a thought that becomes a conviction and it's a nudge. And now it's this thing that you just cannot shake off. It's just there. And the thing about this conviction or nudge is that it doesn't quite make sense yet, but you somehow keep returning to it. If you resonate with that, that is the first sign. The second sign that you might be called to homeschool is that the idea of homeschool, it feels bigger than you and it feels a little scary. A lot of times this is a sign because God does not call us to do things that we can do on our own. If you know anything about God, if you've been walking with him for some time, you know that he will make you and lead you and call you to do things that, like, oh my gosh, like how? Why? It has to be bigger than you, because if it's bigger than you, then you're going to rely on him. If you feel like you can do it on your own and you have all the answers, then guess what? You're not going to need him. You're not going to rely or depend on him. And he loves us so much that he calls us to do things that are beyond our comfort zones. He calls us to do things that stretch us beyond our comfort and our convenience and all the things where we are forced to depend and to rely and to cling to him to help us through. So if the idea of homeschooling feels like it's bigger than you and it feels a little scary, then that's a sign that you're probably called to it. So the tension that you feel around this might actually be confirmation. So the third sign is kind of simple, because you have to think about, how does God speak to you? And you might say, I don't hear God's voice, I don't know, but let's come back a little bit. How does God get your attention? So with all of us, there are different ways that God gets our attention, okay? So for me, one way that God gets my attention is like when things don't work out and I'm trying so hard, I'm like, okay, this ain't you. I'm letting it go. I'm stopping. It's not you. It's not working out. That's one way he gets my attention. Another way God gets my attention is through dreams. Another way God gets my attention is through conversations. If I'm having like the same conversation over and over with different people, then I'm like, okay, God, are you trying to speak to me about this? So you have to kind of examine and assess, how does God typically get your attention? So if God keeps placing people and conversations and things around you that kind of lead you back to this nudge or lead you back to this feeling and thought of homeschooling, then consider that that can be the Lord. Consider that can be God. So if you feel like there are things that are being placed around you in your path, so this can look like you randomly now being surrounded by either books or podcasts or running into moms or other people that kind of echo this thing. Consider this a possibility of God trying to get your attention. And it's not random. It could very much be God trying to get your attention. So think about that and pay attention to that. The fourth sign is that you have this desire that just came out of nowhere, or maybe you've always had it. I don't know, but you have this desire where you want to be the number one primary influence in your child's life. That is not random, because everyone does not think about that, or everyone does not prioritize that in the same way. So you feel this pull towards discipleship. You feel this pull towards just shaping your children's character in a certain way. You feel this pull towards creating like a God-honoring home, a God-honoring culture within your family. All of those things that you may feel is a sign that you're called to homeschool. Because here's the thing, there's some people that don't even think about that twice. Like, that's not even something to entertain. That doesn't land in their mind. That doesn't land in their heart. They don't resonate. They don't desire that, okay? Of course, they're going to be great moms in the way that God has called them to be. But with the way the Lord has designed you, if He wants you to homeschool, He's going to shift and move all these things around. All of a sudden, you're going to find yourself reconsidering and thinking through things that people are easily doing. But for you, it's like a hesitation where like you're not sure. So if you feel those things, those are all different ways that the Lord could very much be trying to get your attention. The fifth thing is that you are dissatisfied with the current school path that you might be on or atmosphere. So if your kids are already in school, you might just be dissatisfied. It might be something about it that just does not sit well. So I remember a time when I was starting a new job and I had been home for almost a year plus at this time, I believe. And I was starting a new job and we were looking for care for my daughter. We looked for nannies, we looked for babysitters, we looked for family help, but we couldn't really find anything that was consistent. So we had to put her into like a Montessori school part-time. And I remember when I did this, even though in my mind I'm like, okay, it's Montessori, and I like felt like it kind of checked off some boxes. When I would go and pick my daughter up, I still would get this urge like, this is not it. Like, this is not it. You know what I mean? Like, I felt this dissatisfaction that I, at the time, did not have language for, but it was like deep down in me. Like, every time I would pull up and pick her up, I would feel that. And then different things kept happening that further confirmed that. And those were all ways that God was talking to me. So if you are currently dissatisfied with the current schooling path that your child is on, or the atmosphere, or just whatever it is for you, consider that that can be something that God is using to get your attention. Hence why you don't feel settled about it. Hence why you feel a dissatisfaction. So pay attention to those things and don't ignore those things. And this is not from a place of fear, okay? It's more so from a place of discernment. So you get this feel that this atmosphere or this school path that your child is on is not reinforcing the values that your child needs, right? So again, some people might not even care about that. They just literally let it roll off. They don't even think about it twice. But meanwhile, for you, you think about it. It weighs on you. So if you feel like this atmosphere that your child is in is not reinforcing the values that they need, or the values that you desire for them to have, the character, the way you want their character to be shaped. If you feel that, consider that to be discernment. It's not necessarily fear, but it can be discernment. The final thing is that you feel this longing for rhythm, for presence, and for purpose at home. And it's this longing that you cannot quite shake off. Something in you longs for slow mornings and rhythms and the ability to be able to shape your child's heart, shape your child's character and learning in the way that you feel God wants them to experience it. You want something that caters to your child's needs. You don't want something that's just copy and paste for everyone. You feel this deeper pull to lean into your child, to be intentional, to be present, to nurture, to cultivate, and to extract and build up the very seeds that God has put inside of them. If you feel that those are things that you kind of think about or consider here and there, consider that all of these things could be signs that the Lord is calling you to homeschool. So what do you do now? Here's what you're going to do. You're going to take time after this video and you're going to pray, okay? You're going to pray and you're going to ask God to confirm. You're going to ask God to give you the grace. Because a lot of times we look at like where we are and we feel inadequate and limited and incapable. Very much so we should, because that's why we need God. That's why we need the Lord, especially for something like homeschooling. Like, you need Jesus. You need the Holy Spirit to help you, to show you. So for me, it was an opportunity to think like, okay, I don't know if I can do this, because I definitely was not sure if I could do it when I first even started thinking about it. So I started to pray and ask God, God, if this is what you want me to do, give me the grace, increase my capacity, give me wisdom, anoint me for this, give me the resources, give me the understanding, the knowledge, the fortitude, everything that's required for me to do this thing that I feel like I'm not able to do right now when I look at myself. I need you to show up, and I need you to make me this person and help me to become this person. And y'all, believe it or not, when you start to pray like that, you're gonna notice that the things that may have felt harder to do, now you have more of a grace to do it. Now you have a larger capacity to do that. You know, that's the beauty of homeschooling, because you're not just training and teaching and educating your child, but it's literally a partnership, because God is also working on you, working in you, working through you. And that's the beauty of that. Don't overlook the signs that are there because you're looking at where you are now, because you're limiting what God can help you to become. You're limiting how God can multiply whatever you have if you yield and surrender this area to Him and allow Him to help you. So take time to sit and pray and ask God to show you if this is for you. And I guarantee He will reveal and confirm if this is what He wants you to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below and let me know. Are you currently homeschooling? Was this video helpful? And if you guys want more videos like this, just let me know and I will come back with, like, I can literally talk about this all day, okay? Because I just love the topic of homeschooling. I hope this video encouraged you. If it did, don't forget to hit the subscribe, hit the like, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.